Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia, and here on my channel we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self-love and healing. And sometimes I use hot topics and reality shows as my muse. And tonight we're talking about Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 12. And Dr. Peppers came to pay us a visit this week. She met with the couples and she talked a little bit about them being vulnerable and sharing a little bit about their past and just talking about some of the hiccups they've had. And I want to get into it a little bit. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please consider subscribing if you like the content. Thumbs up the video or leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts on my assessment or add your own. I'd love to hear you guys. I'd love to discuss with you about the show. If you're returning, welcome back, family. So good to see you, and same to you. Please make sure you comment below your thoughts. So first up, we have Jasmine and Airris, and Airris met with Jasmine's mom. I would love to see Airris' mom. I would love to see an interaction with Airris' mom. But they also met with Dr. Pepper and shared a little bit about their feelings about where they are and where the conflict, or not even the conflict, where the barriers are. As far as them moving forward. And for Jasmine, we learned a little bit about how she moved when she was young, and I'm guessing she probably was picked on. She didn't say, at least I don't remember her saying, but her being new, and how that impacted her self-esteem, and how she never saw her family, her parents, handle conflict. So she doesn't know how to deal with conflict because she didn't see that growing up. She's non-confrontational. I talked in the last video about, you know, her being a people pleaser and how that's something that we would work on and continue working on, building her self-esteem, and also how community and your environment plays a role. Her being a preacher's kid, and you know, there's this thought that you have to be perfect and you always have to be on your best behavior and you represent your family, so you have to be like the good girl. And then on top of that, now we learn that she's never seen conflict, so she doesn't know how to advocate for herself. So it would be huge for her to learn how to advocate for herself and to speak up for herself. Dr. Pepper says that Jasmine has a lot of work cut out for her related to Airris. I disagree with that, because Airris's work is Airris's own work, right? She can be patient and she can be compassionate, but the work that Airris has to do, the barriers that he has to go over or go through, the things that he has to deal with are his, they're not hers. Yes, I do agree with being supportive and compassionate and extending grace, but she's been that. Really it would be about Airris working on tearing down his own walls. And I do love that Dr. Pepper reminded Jasmine, or let Jasmine know, that this isn't her, like his burdens aren't hers. The unfortunate part is because she already had that as a fear, and it's already an issue and a concern, meaning someone not being attracted to her. Since that was already an issue and a fear, he has just confirmed her insecurity. And so that would be Jasmine's work, right? Knowing that for sure you are enough. Sometimes, I said this about Gina last video, we feel like if we succeed in so many ways that we have overcome our childhood wounds, or the wounds that kind of stop us from moving forward in romantic relationships, our heart wounds, where in fact we haven't. And that feeling of feeling worthy and enough has to come from Jasmine doing that work. I know that being in an environment where a man is saying he's not attracted to you is hurtful, and I'm happy she finally said that. I'm happy she finally opened up, and I hope that she does that more. And I do like the fact that Airris didn't say anything, meaning he didn't try to say things weren't true. He didn't try to, you know, shut her down, and he received it in his silence. You know what I mean? At least I perceived he received what she was saying, because he was shaking his head, so he was actively listening. But they both have their own work to do as individuals. And, you know, Airris shared that he tries to open up. So they have these questions, which I thought were great questions and great ways to have these deeper conversations and have these deeper get deeper understanding of one another. And so they have these questions that they're doing, where Airris can ask deeper questions and Jasmine can ask deeper questions of Airris, because one of Jasmine's requests is that they have these deeper conversations and they get to know one another more. And I'm not sure if Jasmine has just shut down, or if she's just given up, or if she feels kind of defeated. I would have thought that the conversation and getting more insight into knowing that these issues were not hers, that they were Airris's, and that he's been dealing with a lot from his past would make her feel better. But I think the damage unfortunately has been done, and it's understandable. But again, we would have to really work on understanding that you can't carry the burden of everyone else, right? It's easier said than done, believe me, I know. But you can't carry the weight of the world. You can't fix people, and everything isn't about you. Sometimes we make ourselves the main character in everyone else's story, and the main character and the villain of someone else's problems, but we are not. So I want her to really own that Airris's issues are his, but she pretty much didn't really want to answer the question. She didn't want to have a conversation. I don't know if something else has happened, or like I said, she's shut down and she just doesn't want to give in anymore. But we will see. But I think her self-esteem unfortunately has taken a hit. But Jasmine, if you ever watch this video, please know that you are a beautiful woman and you are worthy of love. And the issues that he's having has nothing to do with you. It has to do with him and his past and the things that he has to deal with, and also him not knowing how to navigate this situation. And he is willing. He keeps saying, like, you know, I'll get help from whomever. And the fact that he even talked to the mom, yeah, that's part of the show. But the fact that he was willing to have this conversation and share some of these things. Trigger warning, I want to talk a little bit about the conversation he had around his friend with suicide. I love the fact that he said he forgave his friend, and that you know, when he was talking about how he felt that it was selfish. A lot of people who are left without their family or friend, like if their family or friend leaves in that manner, a lot of times we do feel like, you know, how can you not think about us, and how you would leave us in pain and leave us suffering. But you never really know what a person is going through. You know, I work in the medical field, and I can understand both sides. The other side of a person who's dealing with deep depression, there's just this feeling of hopelessness, of helplessness, and they just want the pain to stop. They want the sorrow to stop. Whatever it is that's bothering them, they just want it to stop. And this is the only way that they see. Sometimes it's a cry for help that goes too far, and sometimes it's something that they really want to do, but just because, again, they just want it to stop. So for anyone who may be dealing with that, my heart goes out to you, but please understand that they're not doing it because they want to hurt anyone. They just want to stop. They just want to stop the hurt. So he did say that he acknowledged that now, and he understands that now. So, you know, Airris has been through a lot, and in our community, we don't really realize, and I said this in my last video, how much the loss and neglect impact us. Like if you listen to everybody's story tonight, on this episode, what we hear repeatedly is, you know, there was neglect, there was abandonment in different ways. Abandonment just isn't your parent leaving you or not wanting you. It's a parent not being emotionally available, a parent not being available because they have to work. Sometimes it isn't the intention of the parent. The parent is trying to survive and take care of you and do the best they can, but that doesn't mean as a child you don't feel lost, you don't feel lack, you don't feel not worthy. And children internalize that. They internalize divorce, they internalize absent parents. They feel like it's them, there's something wrong with them, right? So, and you see that in Airris, you see that in a lot of the individuals on the show, and a lot of us suffer from it, a lot of us deal with it. But you just have to understand your parent is human and they are trying to survive. And I know a lot of therapists hate when people say that. They're like, don't say that. But the truth is they're human and they were trying to survive, right? So the truth is they're human, they were trying to survive, they were doing what they knew how to do, and sometimes they didn't know how to do the right thing. They didn't know what they were doing. You know, that's the unfortunate truth. But you as an adult have the ability to reparent yourself and relove yourself and rebuild your life and give yourself and your children, if you want children or had children, the life that you feel is deserving. So we can't internalize our parents' experiences, you know, so we can set that free and forgive them for the tools that they lacked, right? So that's it with the two of them. We will see what happens moving forward. But, you know, hugs and kisses to you, Jasmine, and really to you too, Aries. I know that you've dealt with a lot. And I really do hope that you get the help that you need. Okay. Next up, we have Clint and Gina. So I feel like Gina was being a little dishonest when they met with Dr. Pepper, and Gina was saying that Clint hasn't asked her any questions. I feel like I've seen him ask her and say several times, like, I want to know you. And I get that they have different communication styles. However, she doesn't really open up that much. Now, she did open up about how her independence is linked to, you know, being a single mom and having, not being raised by a single mom, and also by having financial struggles and her father not wanting her, and now she's not able to open up to men as easily because, you know, she's never had that. Again, these are Gina wounds that, you know, Gina has to get to the point where she knows that she's worthy and not project what her dad did or didn't do onto her own relationships, and know that she's worthy of more, and get to a point where she can balance her life of career, but who she is as an individual, as a human, as a person, as a wife, or a potential partner to, if she isn't with Clint, which I don't think she's going to stay. I really don't think she likes Clint that much. I think she tolerates Clint. But, you know, just getting over those things so that she can be that partner or have the relationship or the love that she desires. That wall, that fear will cause her to not be able to move forward. And I know, you know, her partner plays a role. I'm aware that your partner plays a role. So she's with Clint and she may not be really feeling Clint, and maybe that's why she won't open up. But I don't think that's true. I really believe she still wouldn't open up even if it was the right person. Again, I said this before, she may be just more willing to work at it or try to figure it out. But I think there's a lot of fear there. And so dealing with the fear would be very beneficial for her. As far as Clint goes, Clint opened up a little bit more, but Clint has been willing to kind of like share his life and his struggles and his shortcomings. I think for Clint, it's just finding the right person. I think the damage has been done between the two of them, but they're trucking along, right? Next up, we have Nicole and Chris, and I like that Nicole's dad came along and they had like a share outing. They went to goat yoga. So they went to goat yoga. Married at First Sight is going to have goat yoga. So they went to goat yoga and they spoke a little bit about the past. Chris asked Nicole's dad about, you know, how she was growing up and things of that sort. And I have a feeling that her dad doesn't really know, or he doesn't want to say. There may be things he just doesn't want to say on camera, right? The divorce and how she was acting out, I wonder if he really has insight into who she was and why she was behaving that way. You know, Nicole's face and his statements didn't kind of go together for me. But again, you know, he doesn't have to share on camera. I get it. So they're having this conversation around, you know, she was acting out and she didn't want to be around him. And I wonder what that was about. But it could have been something simple as, you know, she felt left, she felt abandoned, she felt alone, you know, or he broke up the family. But I really am curious about that more. because there's somewhere along the way Nicole felt like she wasn't good enough, right? And I want to know where that stems from. And Nicole should want to know that, and she may know that, but just kind of revisiting that so that portion can be healed and dealt with and rectified, because she's really having a hard time receiving kindness and love and feeling worthy. And she's talking about it. I really appreciate Nicole's self-awareness, and I just hope that she is working towards, healing these areas of herself that is afraid of peace, that's afraid of love, that's afraid of acceptance. So I'm hoping that for her. Her and Chris shared a little bit more about their past. I really don't have much more to say, but I just hope that those two continue to, work on themselves and work on the relationship. But I do like that they work through some of the challenges that they have. They put in the effort to express their concerns, and to kind of lift each other up. And, Chris shared too that he didn't used to feel worthy. He didn't used to feel lovable, but he held out hope that someone was going to love him for him, right? Which is great, because you don't want to let bad experiences change you for the worse. You want to become wiser. You want to know that not everyone is ready to receive what it is that you have to offer. Everyone won't understand your value. Everyone won't know what to do with your value. You have to know your worth. And when you know your worth, you can recognize when someone doesn't understand your value or understand your worth. And then you can navigate things differently. But you don't want to become cold and shut down and not be willing to be yourself or love a person or care for a person in ways that make you happy. Like if you love catering to people, you don't want to be the person who no longer caters to people because one person didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? As long as it's coming from a place of this is who I am and this is what I want to do, versus a place of I'm trying to be accepted and I'm trying to people please because I want you to accept me. But if that's who you are, some people are just very giving, loving, nurturing people, right? And if that's who you are, you don't want to dim that part of you because someone else didn't understand the worth of it, or they didn't feel worthy to receive it. So many people don't feel worthy to receive love in a healthy way, or to have someone even recognize that they are to be cared for or loved. So we'll see what happens with the two of them. Last but definitely not least, we have Kirsten and Shaq. Kirsten baked her cookies. Honey, Kirsten gonna bake some cookies, okay? She baked her cookies. They went to go see Dr. Pepper's, and Dr. Pepper told Shaq, hey, you bring your masculine out. And he said, okay. So they're going to go do their thing. I said in my last video, I have some concerns about Kirsten. But she seemed lighter this episode. And they kissed. And I guess they consummated the marriage. We're going to see that next episode, I think. And I'm excited for them. And so we learn a little bit more about Shaq and how Shaq basically, again, had a form of abandonment. Abandonment isn't just the parent leaving, it's the parent not being available. And his mom wasn't available. She was always working. I mean, that's what she had to do, but it doesn't mean it didn't impact him in a way that it did. So it did. And Shaq has been trying to prove himself. He's trying to prove his masculinity. He's man enough, although he can't do what boys do, quote unquote, growing up, meaning playing sports. In so many ways, Shaq is trying to prove himself. And the rejection that Kirsten had offered initially has really hurt him, you can tell. But I think she's trying to rectify it in her own way. We're going to see, because Kirsten likes to play cat and mouse. I hope this is true and this is real and she's really trying to open up. I do think she really likes or is able to see the benefit of being with someone like Shaq. I think Kirsten came in with the image of what a man is supposed to be and what a man is supposed to do, or focus it on just the sexual aspect, like that's the man. I have so many questions about Kirsten. But she's learned by being with him that, there's more to a man. Like, Shaq is handy. Shaq knows how to build a website. He knows how to create logos. He could be beneficial. He's a good partner to have, right? I just want it to be a two-way street. And I don't know if Shaq is even seeking or asking for anything more than for her to be attracted to him and be beautiful. Like, Shaq, what else do you value in a woman and a partner? I don't think we've heard that from him. But as far as Kirsten goes, I think she is slowly starting to see, like, he can change tires. He's going to make sure I'm okay. Like, okay, he may really be a good husband, right? So she's kind of letting go of the superficial thing. We will see as time goes on. With all these couples, we will see. There's always a big surprise with Mavs. I've learned, so I just kind of wait and see. So everything I say, I always, let's just see. But that's pretty much it. I like that they were a little more vulnerable and they opened up a little more. And they shared a little bit more about themselves, because it really helps a person to understand you. And sometimes allow you yourself to understand that, hey, you know what? I do have this issue or barrier here because of what happened in this moment of time. And you can work on that so that you can be available for a relationship, which is what they all want. They're looking for love. They said they want to be married, I think, again, Airris does. Airris lives in his fantasy land. I've talked about that before, where he has this movie in his mind about how his life and relationship is going to be. And it's going to take a lot of work for him to learn how to really relate to someone else, because he's been so shut off for so long, because he's experienced so much loss in very tragic ways too. So, again, we will see what happens with these ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment, and most importantly, please don't forget to love yourself for who you are. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.